Florida residents are dealing with major flooding and likely will for days as they try to recover from deadly Hurricane Ian, expected to be the most expensive storm in the state's history. At least 66 people are believed to have died because of Ian in Florida alone, and 4 people were killed in storm-related incidents in North Carolina, officials say. Watch the video above. Where to now for victims of Hurricane Ian? Watch the latest news on Channel 7 or stream for free on 7+. Ian also knocked out power for hundreds of thousands in the Carolinas on Friday into early Saturday. The largest impacts remain in Florida, where river flooding may continue inland well into next week, forecasters warn. In western Florida's Arcadia, dozens of miles inland, river flooding still covered part of the town Michael Lake on Saturday, making a state highway invisible and swallowing all but the roof of a gas station, a CNN crew there saw. Near Sarasota, a possible levee break forced officers to evacuate a neighborhood early Saturday over flooding concerns. In hard-hit Fort Myers, where storm surge swallowed vehicles and many homes' first levels, Rob Guarino is hosting friends in his high-rise apartment who lost everything. "A few of them are staying with me now. They just have nowhere to go," Guarino told CNN. Sunrise cameraman drops his camera on live TV to help rescue families stuck in Hurricane Ian by Saturday evening. Ian was a post-tropical cyclone, continuing to weaken across southern Virginia, and it could drop several more inches of rain over parts of West Virginia and western Maryland into Sunday morning, the National Hurricane Center said. On Wednesday, Ian smashed into southwest Florida as a Category 4 hurricane, pulverizing coastal homes and trapping residents with floodwaters, especially in the Fort Myers and Naples areas. It pushed inland into Thursday, bringing strong winds and damaging flooding to central and northeastern areas. The hurricane then made another landfall Friday in South Carolina between Charleston and Myrtle Beach as a Category 1 storm, flooding homes and vehicles along the shoreline and eventually knocking out power for hundreds of thousands more in the Carolinas and Virginia. "Marry that man." Internet goes wild over man's heroic act during Hurricane Ian. More than 1 million customers in Florida still did not have power Saturday evening, and more than 99,000 did not have power in North Carolina, according to Power Outage. In Florida's Fort Myers Beach, where a furious storm surge wiped out homes and left little but debris, shaken survivors are coping with what they saw and mourning those they've lost. Kevin Behan, who rode out the storm on the second floor of a building in Fort Myers Beach, told CNN on Friday night that he knew of 2 men who died making sure their wives escaped a home which had begun to flood. "These guys pushed their wives out the windows to where a tree was," Behan said. "They just looked at their wives and they said, 'We can't hold on anymore. We love you. Bye,' and that was it." About 90% of the island is pretty much gone, Fort Myers Beach Town Councilman Dan Allers said. "Unless you have a high-rise condo or a newer concrete home that is built to the same standards today, your house is pretty much gone. I've been in this community since the mid-70s, I was on the police department for 25 years, worked a lot of storms, this is by far the worst one I've ever seen," Fort Myers Mayor Kevin Anderson told CNN. "As tough as this storm is, people are in good spirits and they're determined not to be defeated," the mayor added. TV reporters attempt to get extra protection for microphone raises eyebrows. Sanibel and Captiva Islands, meanwhile, have been cut off from the mainland after parts of a causeway were obliterated by the storm. Those living in western Florida's Charlotte County are facing a tragedy without homes, electricity or water supplies, said Claudette Smith, public information officer for the sheriff's office. "We need everything, to put it plain and simple. We need everything. We need all hands on deck," Smith said. "The people who have come to our assistance have been tremendously helpful, but we do need everything." Further south, in Naples, Brandon and Dylan Barlow were clearing out their grandfather's flooded home. Dylan, who lives nearby, recalled watching the storm from his own home and realizing a canal by their grandfather was rising too quickly for comfort. "I didn't ask him if we could pick him up, I told him we're picking him up," he said. "So we took the car. We got to his house, and by the time we got him out of the house, there was already maybe 2 feet, 60 centimeters, of water. And we drove back in the water, and it was very close, but we got him out of there and we got him back to my mom's house safely." Watch the video below. 7 News cameraman's incredible act for hurricane victims. At least 66 deaths suspected to be related to Ian have been reported in Florida, including about 35 in Lee County, according to the sheriff there. The toll also includes 12 in Charlotte County, 8 in Collier County, 5 in Volusia County, 3 in Sarasota County, 1 in Polk County, 1 in Lake County, 1 in Manatee County, according to officials. From Florida's coastal shores to inland cities such as Orlando, dangerous flooding has forced locals into dire circumstances. In one Orlando neighborhood where deep water has covered roads, some residents traveled by boat to assist others. The U.S. Coast Guard has rescued more than 275 people in Florida, according to READM. Brendan McPherson, and hundreds of additional rescues were being performed by teams from FEMA and local and state agencies. But post-storm conditions remain a huge challenge, he said. We're flying and we're operating in areas that are unrecognizable. There's no street signs. They don't look like they used to look like. Buildings that were once benchmarks in the community are no longer there, he said. And in western Florida Saturday, concerns over a possible levee break forced sheriff's officers to go door-to-door in the Sarasota area community of Hidden River to warn residents of possible flooding there, the sheriff's office said. The problem could pose flooding issues to roughly 70 homes on the east side of the Hidden River neighborhood, the sheriff's office later added, and encouraged those residents to consider evacuating. South of Hidden River, about 150 additional people also had to be evacuated because of intruding water in the city of Northport, which already had thousands of flooded homes, Fire Chief Scott Titus said. In North Carolina, 4 storm-related deaths were reported by Saturday afternoon, the governor's office said, including a man who drowned when his truck went into a flooded swamp. 2 people died in separate crashes and a man died of carbon monoxide poisoning after running a generator in a closed garage, the governor's office said. No deaths were reported in South Carolina, the governor there said. The storm has flooded homes and submerged vehicles along South Carolina's shoreline. 2 piers, one in Pawleys Island and another in North Myrtle Beach, partially collapsed as high winds pushed water even higher. Watch the video below. Australian states